Before I kick off the review, I want to explain something. The Alvarez Empire review will come out eventually. See, my friends want to take part in this as well, and I'm still waiting on their notes before I can begin writing the script. If it ends up taking too long, I may just do a solo review, but for now, here's some material to keep you occupied. So, in this corner of the world, gonna be honest with you guys, I had never heard of this movie prior to this review. But when I went to get Ultra Sun, I found it on the shelf next to your name and decided to get it because, hey, it had a cute cover. And before I get any questions, no, I haven't seen your name yet. Planning on seeing it with my lady in the future. But back to this movie. Like pretty much everything else made into an anime these days, this was adapted from a manga series released in 2007, written and illustrated by Fumio Kono, while the animation is produced by MAPPA, known for the recent Garo animes, as well as Yuri on Ice, and directed by Sanao Katabuchi, who directed My Miracle and the anime adaptation of the Black Lagoon series. So we have a studio known for making really well done animation, and a director who seems to have a pretty good track record handling a series set in Japan during the 30s and 40s. Can they pull it off? Let's find out. Our film begins with our main character, Suzu Arano, heading off to Futaba to deliver seaweed so that she can get stuff for his siblings. Not much really goes on during this bit in terms of major action, so I'm going to use this moment to give praise to the film. This animation is really good. Like, holy shit, this is incredible. And this opening moment is a good job showcasing this element. From the backgrounds, to the sea, to the lighting, to the character models, to even the art style resembling watercolors, which fit very well given Suzu's interest in drawing/painting as shown later, this film manages to do a great job drawing the viewer into its world and being appealing to the eye. In fact, during production of this movie, the studio actually went through a lot of old photos, documents, and even went to two of the cities the movie is mostly based around to try and recreate the cities of Hiroshima and Kure in animated form. I'm not even kidding. It's a bonus feature on the DVD, and I'll link the interview in the description if you want further proof. Now back to the movie. So after Suzu's little trip to the big city, we see her interest in drawing for a bit before we cut to two time skips. One with Suzu meeting with her family on the other side of the sea, and the other with Suzu attending school, where we see some of her skills with drawing, as well as more of her nice and caring personality, as shown with her painting the ocean so that her classmate Mizuhara could go home. And to praise the animation again, I do like that they made the painting the background and animated the white rabbit shown in the original painting. It's a nice touch. So we get another time skip to around the time Suzu is 18, and we find out from her parents that a man has come to propose marriage to our main lead. Suzu decides to go and meet him, but along the way, she encounters Mizuhara, who's heading off to the Navy, and he mistakes her for her brother. So we meet the groom, Shuzaku, in the town of Kure, and the marriage goes off with barely any issues. Oh, okay, except for a slight issue of the people in the ceremony getting on Suzu's case for disrobing, even though she has a kimono underneath it. Seriously, that's like taking off a tux to unveil another tux underneath and then have someone get onto you for stripping. It's like, what the fuck? Anyways, after that, we cut to Suzu doing mundane things around the house and town, while we also get introduced to her new relatives and her interaction/chemistry with them. There's her father-in-law, Entaro, who works for the Navy, her mother-in-law, Sanhojo, her sister-in-law, Keiko, who is a bitch, but has gone through a lot of shit in her life, and her niece, Harumi. And to be honest, these characters are fine. Same with the groom/husband. They serve their purpose in the story, and their chemistry with our main lead is handled pretty well. I was able to care about these characters and feel for them when shit went down, and if this film can make me feel that, I think the writers did a good job here. Same with Suzu's main family, though not as effective since they aren't on screen that much after the wedding in comparison to her husband's family. As for Suzu herself, I like her character. She has a nice personality, I like her chemistry with the other characters, and I like seeing how she handles all the stuff that comes her way. Sure, she's pretty mundane, but an argument can be made that her character is made that way so that people can insert themselves into her shoes. Speaking of her husband, though, after she returns to her new home, we get a nice scene of Suzu interacting with her husband, while Shuzaku talks about the ships made in the 30s/40s, one of which was the Yamato, which he refers to as the greatest warship in the world. Why they have other battleships in that sea. Yeah, sure. Anyways, as the film goes on, the effects of the war begin to be more apparent as the rationing in Kure is getting worse. There are attacks on the mountains now, and Suzu's family now has a bomb shelter near their home in the event of air raids. Yeah, did I mention this was set around the time of World War II? Anyways, after that, we get some backstory on Keiko that backs up how much shit she has gone through in her life, basically losing her husband, son, store, and basically having a poor relationship with her husband's family. It doesn't excuse her bitchy behavior towards Suzu in this film, but to be fair, that does go away as the film goes on. Plus, hey, at least we know more about this character now. After that scene, Suzu is drawing the ships, and the military police try to arrest her for espionage. But after they leave, the family has a laugh about the whole thing, because Suzu would be a terrible spy due to her forgetfulness and the like, and honestly, good on them for going down this route. I thought they would have attacked her over this accusation or gotten angry at them, so to see them do the opposite here was an interesting surprise. Anyways, we get some more mundane stuff until Mizuhara pops into the picture again and spends the evening, where we also get a close moment with him and Suzu before he tells her to smile when she thinks of him and then heads back to the Navy before immediately cutting to a funeral. Now, when I first saw this scene, I thought it was Mizuhara because after he left, it immediately cut to that. Backed up with the previous scene talking about her remembering him after he's gone with a smile instead of regret. But no, instead of Mizuhara, it was Yoichi, Suzu's brother, the guy who barely had much of a presence in this movie. But seriously, why not Mizuhara? We only see Mizuhara one more time after this, and him and Suzu don't even talk in that scene. There's not even a scene where the two hug over the death of Yoichi, so really, why keep him around then? Why not kill him? But I digress. Now that we're getting past the 1 hour mark, it's time for the film to start rubbing in the message of war being hell, as we get a montage of Kurei getting hit by air raids. Suzu's father-in-law goes missing during one of these air raids, though it's later revealed that he survived, though he's injured. And then after that scene, there is another air raid, which results in them going to a shelter. But after that scene, Suzu and her niece are walking back home when they encounter a small crater, and Suzu realizes too late that the crater contained an unexploded bomb, which goes off, resulting in Suzu losing her right arm and her niece. And it only gets worse. Suzu suffers depression over all this. Keiko is furious at Suzu for the loss of her daughter. They nearly lose their home during another raid. Their town is severely damaged from the raids. But there is a bit of hope as Keiko apologizes to Suzu for what happened and starts to warm up to her now. But then the Hiroshima bombings happened. And they don't sugarcoat it here. Then again, they haven't sugarcoated the other parts of this war either, but you get my point. One of the deadliest weapons ever created at the time just dropped, and they aren't afraid to hide the effects. Not Barefoot Gen levels where they go all out with the effects and it's, well, fucking horrifying to see, but it's still chilling here. And something tells me that some of you watching this just typed in that Barefoot Gen thing, didn't you? Whoops. But yeah, after the bombs were dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan surrendered, and Suzu isn't taking it well. Especially since after all that she's gone through due to this war, the loss of her arm, Kurei, her niece, and now the town her main family is from, and by extension her main family, save for a couple of relatives, all of that is for nothing now since her country surrendered and her lost the war. But eventually, things do sort of work out. Suzu adopts a girl who lost her mom in the bombings, her husband has a new job, and things end on a little bit of optimism. And with the final shot of the house, the movie's over. The end. Roll credits. So as a story, it works. Not much I can complain about there. Though the movie is a little long, so if you're okay with that, you'll probably enjoy it. The characters are also fine. While I do like Suzu and her husband's family, the other characters are just okay or just there. They aren't anger-inducing or anything, but they don't really leave much else to be desired. But hey, it could be worse. You could have a cast so fucking bad that you want most of them to jump off a fucking bridge. You could be that! Anyways, my tangent aside, the music is really well done. From the opening and ending pieces to the background music, the soundtrack is really damn good. Hell, even the voices are handled really well, both in the sub and dub version. And the animation, well, yeah, this is really good. Really damn good. But I already praised that earlier, so let's just wrap this up. Overall, In This Corner of the World is a really damn good movie. From its story to characters, even the animation, this is one film that not only surprised me, but made me want to see it again. If you haven't seen this yet, I recommend giving it a shot if you're okay with the subject matter of World War II. Well, that concludes this review. I'm the Mounty, and thanks for watching.
Yes, David, it's your dear old friend Toucher, back from the dead to kill you. Now it's time for you to... You seriously murder a friend?
Toucher is dead. She's gone. And your actions have only poured more fuel on the fire. Deanimate!
So we actually went through with it. Fine. I have wasted enough time trying to revive his loved ones. I will act now. If I can't break him through reviving his loved ones, I will kill him and his fiancée then. Their holy union will be in the afterlife. Captain, the girl has escaped. What? Yeah, she told me that she remembers now before leaving it somewhere late. Screw it. Let's drop off our cargo and get going. At least they're better now.